John, we need to talk. I can't stand this anymore. Your behavior has become unbearable.
Oh, here we go again. What's your problem now?
My problem is that you have completely neglected me and our home. I am exhausted from doing everything alone.
Give me a break, Mary. You're always so demanding and needy. I work hard all day, and you expect me to do everything at home?
It's not about expecting you to do everything, John. It's about sharing responsibilities and showing some care and support. But all you do is sit in front of the TV.
Don't be so dramatic. You act like it's the end of the world if the dishes aren't washed or the laundry isn't done.
I thought we were a team, but you have become distant and disrespectful.
Oh, please, don't play the victim. You're blowing this out of proportion.
No, I'm standing up for myself and our relationship. I can't live like this anymore.
Fine. If that's how you feel, go ahead and leave. Do you really have the courage to? I don't think so.
My name is Mary, and I live with my husband John. We both worked at the same company, but in different departments. I worked as an attorney, while John is a senior employee in the sales department. We met at work and quickly formed a deep connection. John had an extraordinary character that drew me in, and I knew I wanted to spend the rest of my life with him. We got married, and for a while, everything seemed perfect. However, things began to change after I found out I was pregnant. I was overjoyed at the prospect of starting a family, and I had assumed John would be just as excited. But to my disappointment, he seemed distant and detached. The once vibrant and passionate man I fell in love with became a mere shadow of himself. He slowly but surely lost interest in me and in the values we had once shared. It almost felt like he didn't even want to be a dad. As my pregnancy progressed, I realized that John had begun neglecting his responsibilities. He started avoiding household chores and left me to do everything alone. The weight of the growing baby inside of me made even the simplest task challenging, and I needed his support more than ever. But instead of being there for me, John became consumed by his obsession with watching TV. Each day, I found myself struggling with the chores, feeling exhausted and emotionally drained. I would share my needs and complaints with John, hoping that he would understand and make an effort to help me. But my words fell on deaf ears, as he seemed more interested in the fictional dramas on the screen than the real struggles I faced. I decided to have a talk with him. John, we need to talk. I can't stand this anymore. Your behavior has become unbearable.
Oh, here we go again. What's your problem now?
My problem is that you have completely neglected me and our home. I'm exhausted from doing everything alone.
Give me a break, Mary. You're always so demanding and needy. I work hard all day, and you expect me to do everything at home?
It's not about expecting you to do everything, John. It's about sharing responsibilities and showing some care and support, but all you do is sit in front of the TV.
Don't be so dramatic. You act like it's the end of the world if the dishes aren't washed or the laundry isn't done.
I thought we were a team, but you have become distant and disrespectful.
Oh, please. Don't play the victim card. You're blowing this out of proportion.
No, I'm standing up for myself and our relationship. I can't live like this anymore.
Fine. If that's how you feel, go ahead and leave. Do you really have the courage to? I don't think so.
After that cold conversation, John simply left. I had hoped that the joy of becoming parents would bring us closer together, but instead it seemed to have pushed us apart. The resentment and disappointment grew within me, creating an emotional chasm that seemed impossible to bridge. The divide between us grew wider with each passing day. I felt invisible, as if my needs and happiness no longer mattered to John. Our bond began to fracture under the weight of his indifference. One day during my pregnancy, I was struck by a wave of sickness so overwhelming that I found myself unable to do anything. Nausea gripped me, making even the simplest task seem impossible. I knew I needed help, so I reached out to John, hoping he would come to my aid. He had gone out to spend time with his friends because he didn't want to catch whatever disease that I was having, even though I was desperately needing his help. To my dismay, he didn't pick up the phone. I tried and tried, but I was still all alone. Feeling weak and desperate, I collapsed on our living room sofa. In that vulnerable state, I couldn't help but fear for myself and the life growing inside me. It seemed as if I were drowning in a sea of hopelessness. Fortunately, in my darkest moment, my parents came to my rescue. They had an additional key to our home and had sensed that something was wrong when they couldn't reach me. Bursting through the door, they found me unconscious and immediately sprang into action. Their presence brought a glimmer of hope back into the room as they tended to me with love and care. When I regained consciousness, I found myself in the comforting embrace of my parents. They assured me that everything would be all right and vowed to support me through this challenging time. Their devotion reminded me of the strength and resilience that ran through our family. With newfound determination, I confronted John about his neglect and indifference. I told him that I could no longer endure the pain of his emotional absence and the burden of shouldering everything alone. But instead of listening to my heartfelt plea, he responded with mockery and scorn. John, we need to talk. I can't keep going like this. If you want to be a dad, you need to step up and be there for me and our baby. Otherwise, I can't see a future for us.
Oh, really? Is this what this is about? Your constant need for attention? You're always making everything about you and your feelings.
This isn't about attention, John. It's about the well being of our child and the strain on our relationship. I can't do this alone anymore.
Well, maybe you should have thought about that before getting pregnant. The baby doesn't matter to me, it's just a burden and inconvenience.
How, how can you say that? This is our child, John. Don't you understand the responsibility we have?
Responsibility? You're the one who wanted this baby. I never signed up for this. You're the needy one, always demanding more from me.
I can't believe you're being so heartless. Our child deserves better than this. I deserve better than this. If you can't change and be there for us, then maybe it's time I leave.
Fine, go ahead and leave. See if I care. I'm better off without you and your constant nagging.
That's it. Then I'm done. I won't subject our child to this toxic environment. I'm leaving, John.
Oh, please, you'll come crawling back when you realize you can't do it alone.
We'll see about that. Goodbye, John. I hope you find some empathy someday. His words cut deep, reopening the wounds of my loneliness and frustration. At that moment, the realization hit me like a punch to the gut. The man I once admired, the man I had married and vowed to spend my life with, had become a stranger to me. His inability to empathize or understand my pain shattered the last remnants of the love I had held onto. And just like that, I walked out of his life. With the unwavering support of my parents, I found peace in their presence and the calm environment they provided during my pregnancy. I gave birth to a healthy and adorable boy, and I named him Elijah. Sadly, John didn't even say a word to me during all those months. It was as if Elijah meant nothing to him. But I wouldn't let that affect the life that Elijah deserved. Determined to provide for my child, I mastered the strength to return to work after a much needed leave of absence. As I focused on rebuilding my life, John seemed surprised by my resilience. In a desperate attempt to regain control, he resorted to manipulation and intimidation. First of all, he refused to sign the divorce papers. Then he finally called me up after months, but instead of expressing care, he tried to undermine my confidence. He constantly said that our son would resent me for breaking off our family. He placed the blame on my shoulders, saying that it was because of me that our child didn't have a father figure in his life. But I refused to let his words break me. I knew deep down that I was making the right decision for both myself and my son. I stood my ground, unwavering in my resolve to provide a loving and stable environment for my child. In the face of my unwavering determination, John realized that his power over me was slipping away. Faced with the potential exposure of his actions, he reluctantly acquiesced and signed the divorce papers. At that moment, I knew I had made the right choice. My son deserved a better life, one that was built on a foundation of unwavering love and support, and I was determined to provide just that, no matter the obstacles that lay ahead. John didn't stop there. It seemed like he had to get his revenge, even though I never did him wrong. Days after that, John was secretly messing with me at work. Rumors and false accusations began to spread like wildfire throughout the company. He came up with a malicious tale, alleging that our son was the product of an affair I had with our boss. It was a desperate attempt to ruin my reputation and turn my colleagues against me. The consequences were immediate and devastating. I found myself facing judgment and criticism from colleagues. The once supportive work environment transformed into a battlefield of whispers and pointed glances. The weight of the rumors bore down on me, affecting my daily life and tainting my professional relationship. The stress and negativity were casting a shadow over my every step. It felt as if I was walking on eggshells, wondering who might believe John and turn their back on me. One fateful day, I mastered the courage to confront John. The weight of the rumors and false accusations had become unbearable, and I needed answers. I brought him into a conference room where nobody was paying attention and started questioning him right away. John, we need to talk. I can't carry this burden of false accusations any longer. Tell me the truth. Are you behind all of this?
What? What are you talking about?
Cut the act, John. I know it was you. The rumor, the campaign against me. It's all because of you. Tell me the truth.
Fine, yes, I started those rumors, but don't worry, there's no way anyone will ever find out. I'm too clever for that.
You think you're untouchable, don't you?
Of course I do, because I am. You'll watch as your life crumbles to the ground.
I can't believe I married you in the first place. You are a monster.
Whatever, Mary. Watch me ruin you. You should never have left me.
Oh, so you think you're so clever? Well, let me enlighten you.
What are you talking about?
Take a good look over there. What do you see?
I don't see anything.
Exactly. That object, in the corner, the microphone, I set it up, John. I recorded our conversation and it's being played on the company's radio system right about now.
You're bluffing. There's no way you could have done that.
Believe what you want, but the evidence is right there. Your confession will be broadcasted for everyone to hear. The truth will no longer remain hidden. John's face paled, his eyes widening in disbelief as he grasped the gravity of the situation. The tables had turned and the weight of his actions now loomed over him like a dark cloud.
You can't do this to me. You're just trying to ruin my life.
No, John. Your actions have already ruined me. It's time for the truth to come out. I won't let you get away with this any longer. His anger and frustration boiled over, and John realized that it was his life that was about to be ruined. I was going to leave him there, but then I realized he was looking really weird. His eyes were filled with violence and fury. Then he acted. John jumped over the conference table to reach me, but I managed to stay out of his grasp. I was really afraid and my instincts told me to find a way out. I looked around the room quickly, trying to find a place to protect myself. The tension in the air was thick, and I knew I had to act fast. John was determined to catch me, and he pushed chairs and stuff off of his way. He was really angry and wanted to shut me up and destroy any proof of what he did. I found a hiding spot behind some filing cabinets and I was breathing really fast, trying to stay calm. The room felt like a maze and I had to be careful not to get caught. The struggle echoed through the office with the noise of chairs falling and our footsteps ringing out. It was chaotic and intense and I was deeply aware of the danger that I was in. But fortune smiled upon me that day. My manager, alerted by the commotion, burst into the room just in the nick of time. His timely intervention spared me from John's violence. After that, John's actions had finally caught up with him. As the news of the incident spread throughout the company, he faced the judgments he so rightly deserved. Legal action was taken against him. Right on the next day, my company gave him a call, informing him that he would be fired. The story spread quickly, and John lost all of his friends and acquaintances. Nobody could trust him anymore after that. A few months after, the court ordered John to pay child support as well as the fine he was responsible for when he tried to fabricate stories about me and attempt to harass me. In the aftermath of this chapter, I found solace and support in the unwavering love of my parents. They had stood by my side throughout the trials and tribulations, providing the stability and care that my child and I needed. With their guidance and encouragement, I embarked on the journey of raising my child with love, compassion, and devotion. As I watched Elijah grow, I vowed to create a nurturing environment. While the road ahead would undoubtedly hold its own set of hurdles, I knew that I possessed the strength and determination to face them head on. The love and support of my family served as a constant reminder that I was not alone in this journey. United, we forged a path of healing and growth, leaving behind the scars of the past and embracing a future filled with hope and possibility. I am so excited for what's to come.